Hello, 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 everyone. It's Dr. Tamar Beckford, and I am the host of the EBS show. That's right. EBS, what is that? That's the EntreMD Business School, which is the premier business school for physician entrepreneurs, right? So today we're going to get to meet one of our classmates. Yes, I say our classmates because I know after you watch this, you too will join the business school, right? So this is Dr. Funke Afolabi-Brown, and she is the founder and CEO of Restful Sleep MD.
Yay!
Yes, yes. Alrighty. So, sleep specialist extraordinaire, Dr. Funke, as we call her. So, where was Restful Sleep MD before you joined the business school?
Oh gosh, such a great question. Thanks, Dr. Beckford. Restful Sleep MD was barely a figment of my imagination. Let's just say it was a I wonder what it would be like to use what I had to
Mhm.
help people. But okay, I'm doing that already. I'm a physician. I'm already, a pretty successful um, academic clinician in a very large institution. So I was doing it, but there was more. It was just
Mhm.
hard to place a finger on what that more was.
So, where did you find out about the business school? Like, what was like, when did it just like hit you? Like, wow, there's a place out there that can probably help me. Tell me.
Yeah, it was. I would say it was first from the one of the very first EntreMD lives.
Mm-hmm.
And I also had a friend, Dr. Yinka Skin, who happened to, we attended the same medical school. And so that was where we met. She kind of talked about this Dr. Una and, EBS and things like that. So, yeah, so that was where I'd heard of it. And, it was just kind of, oh, that's interesting, curious entrepreneurs. It's probably not for me,
Right. It's been
you
those other
know?
people, right?
Yeah. It was just like just this big thing out there. Like, no, I think I'm good. But the more I saw just how passionate she was and how she was doing all these amazing things, and and really also learning and kind of joining EntreMD, the Facebook group, and I'm like, wow, this Dr. Una is pretty incredible. I really want to get to and then I joined, I started listening to the podcast, and all that. And so I think that just kind of gravitated me towards the business school, such that I'm like, I wonder what that would be like, even if to have those tools, not necessarily sure what I was going to do with it, honestly, initially,
Mhm.
but saying, okay, you know what? I know there's that extra, there's something else that I'm here for, even if I am coming in as an entrepreneur, which is perfect, for the business school as well. Let's start there and let me understand what it means to develop this physician brand, and things like that. So that's kind of worked its way up, and here I am.
Wow, wow.
Yeah.
So, when you came into the business school, you had a couple different thoughts. You're like, let me dip my foot in that. It's actually probably you dipped your toe. I don't think you dipped your foot. And you're like, let me dip my toe into this world of entrepreneurship. But within a month, I think you were like full blown in there. So tell us, what were some of the changes that immediately started to occur once you joined the business school?
Yeah, I think it was, first of all, I needed to demystify the myth that entrepreneurship was just for certain people. So joining the business school helped me to do that real quick. Like, oh, these are just like women just like me who are feeling restless. Restless was what I felt.
Mhm.
And it was somewhat hard to put it in words. I just knew, okay, there's more, and so it kind of helped me, figure out what exactly it was I needed to do. But it started with my mind, really, like, this is for me, this is something I can do.
Mhm.
And so I think that was a lot of where the shift was. And then the incredible classmates, my goodness, you right, like everybody was just like, we're in this, we're doing it scared, we're doing it messy, let's get this ball rolling.
Mhm.
And just the support from Dr. Una as well. Like, no matter what tiny win, hey, I figured out this. I figured out how to set up an LLC. Oh my gosh, that's incredible. So I think those little things just kept spurring me forward. And then, it's been a very wild but fun ride.
Well, take us on the journey. Take us on
Yeah,
the journey.
yeah, absolutely. I know, right? So I would say, so I started off, one of my strengths or one of my gifts is really like encouraging people, encouraging women.
Mhm.
But then I also have this additional skill set, which is really understanding what sleep means and how important sleep is in our ability to thrive. And I want women to thrive, like I'm
Mhm.
like women's cheerleader. And so kind of then I looked at what I was passionate about with what I had. And I'm like, well, look at what we're doing. We're all sleep deprived in this in this world, honestly. And imagine if we were all prioritizing sleep and getting everybody to sleep well, to have good quality, quantity, and continuity of sleep. The kids are sleeping, the parents are sleeping. We'll be able to reach our fullest potential. And so that was where some of that started. And so, I tried different kind of names. It came to like, okay, first I needed to, figure out what I wanted to be known for, and so I figured that out. I wanted to be that physician that helps people understand how important sleep was. And then from there was like, okay, let's start the LLC and let's have a name for my brand in that sense. And the website, all about, I think even beyond that, beyond the all those extras, it's first discovering who you are, what your gift is,
Mhm.
and what your purpose and who you really want to help. So that was really the biggest piece for me.
Wow.
And then it was like, okay, you're done. You can't really just like hang your shingle and sit indoors. Then came the, okay, you got to put yourself
Put
out
yourself
there.
out there. So let's
you know
really recap where you are right now, right? So you had a friend, you heard, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people who are watching this, they've probably been hearing, I've been hearing about this EntreMD Business School. Like, who are these people out there who are just so supportive and they're cheering each other on? Like, what is going on, right? So then you take this step and you're like, let me listen. And you're like, okay, I've listened to a podcast. And then you dip your foot in and you said, let me go. And you stepped in there knowing that you wanted to help, knowing that you have a gift, but you had no business, did you?
Not at
Restful
all.
Sleep MD did not exist.
Mm-hmm. That
You
is so
just
true.
knew that you wanted to do something. So between the time of getting in there, you started a business, you have a name, and then you're out there telling the world, listen, and you're a champion for sleep. When everyone thinks about, oh, I'm sleep deprived, they said, oh, by the way, Dr. Funke, believe me, I'm going to go and get this rest and I'm going to ensure. So you have moved from this glimmer of thought to now being known as a sleep expert. And tell us, like, and this is not just within us in the business school, you're going out there and you have people who are asking you to come and speak.
Yeah, I know. And though I love how you're kind of, and like I'm stepping back, I'm like, wow, honestly, it's not been that long, but that's what happens when you take action.
Mm-hmm.
I think definitely as women, sometimes we hold ourselves back. We have all these dreams, but you're like, oh, but what do I know? How am I different? You know what I mean? And then you have all this self-limiting beliefs. I think what happens when you take that first step is the next step shows up. You may not see the entire journey.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's what I'm doing now. Like, I'm like, okay, what's the challenge from EBS? Because we have all this challenges. Okay, I'll just do it. I'll just do it. And then the next step will come. And as I put myself out there, starting with a couple of posts, say, sleep well, blah, blah, all that kind of stuff, which is so important.
Mm-hmm.
And really saying, listen, I'm here to be that resource. I'm here to help you kind of figure this sleep thing out for your child and also for yourself. And so with that, and also saying yes to opportunities to speak, I think that's been just huge. It's built my confidence. And it's been like remarkable how much there's a need for people like myself out there, like people that do have the training, what I mean, like the expertise and understand the science behind it. So it's not just fluff. This is like evidence-based medicine, but really bringing it to very practical steps that you can take to improve your health, because a lot of us are exhausted because we're not sleeping enough. So really, as I started to do more, I'm like, oh, wow, my goodness, things that I just assume, you know how it is when you're in your zone of genius and things that you're like, oh yeah, I guess everybody should know that already. But it's like, oh no, they don't. No, they don't. Or maybe they do, but they know what the truth is. But in terms of really applying it to them, to their lives and their kids' lives, they don't. And so that's where I come in. And the more I'm doing this, the more I'm realizing that. And so I think that's just been, it's been humbling. It's been just really incredible to see. And I'm just so honored to be able to do this.
Well, you're making a big impact and you're doing it, like you said, in your zone of genius. So you realize that there's more to just the physician part of me. There's more to give than just the clinical aspect. You know, I really can provide more care to more than just these patients that are set on my schedule.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, you know, in doing so, as you mentioned, you said you have the skill set, you've learned, people know some of what you know, but a lot of people don't know what you know. And some people know it just in saying that, yes, it's important, but they don't know how to apply it. And that's when you go out there and you're helping others apply this information to their lives and just changing lives. One restful sleep at a time, one REM sleep at a time.
I know, right? I love it. I love it. Yeah, yeah, that's spot on. That's spot on. And I'm still in evolution, right? We never, ever, ever arrive. We never stop growing. So I'm just so excited about what the next 3 months and 6 months are going to, you know, bring, right? And I'm just ready to go because I've said yes. You know, I've joined just a class of incredible women that I've been able to collaborate with and in the EBS. And really, I've had so many doors open. So it's like, oh my goodness, imagine if you keep saying yes and you don't let your whatever you feel like your limitations hold you back. It's you know, then you're unstoppable. And that's what we are.
Well, let's tell, there's some people who are listening and they're like, that sounds great. Yeah. So many doors open. Oh, that's nice. But let them know some of these doors that have opened for you since you joined.
Absolutely. So, you know, I think there's one thing to have your passion and what you feel is your purpose. And then there's another piece of how do you, you know, make this, how do you extend your reach? And if you have a profitable business, you're able to extend, you're able to help more people, right? You're not just in this little cocoon where you're just trying to get the word out there. And so I have come to realize, I think again, the big thing is really that mindset that money is completely not a bad thing. In fact, it's a good thing. It just depends on who's holding it and what it's for. So I think that's been a huge piece because if you're able to build a profitable business, guess what? The money takes you even farther, right? And so definitely one of the things I have, with just being in the business school, be able to make this a profitable business idea, right? So it's still in the process, but with being able to do what I'm doing, I've spoken on so many podcasts, I can't even count. You know, I've started my YouTube channel. I have a website where people can get resources, and I've started, I'm collaborating with people. I've had opportunities to speak on large platforms, some of which I'm getting paid for. I've helped contribute to courses. And so that's just the start. And I'm working on developing a course of my own, really to help teenagers to start, And so I think those are just the things that I would never in my wildest dreams have imagined I could do, a few more, before I started EBS. So honestly, I think those are just a few of those, and just the confidence too, right? The confidence that, you know what, I can do this, I can do it. Sometimes it's uncomfortable, but uncomfortable is just okay.
That's our zip code.
Exactly. Exactly.
So how long have you been in the business school?
So I started with the cohort in July.
In July.
July, August, September. Yeah. So about 4 months now.
All of this.
I know.
When you look back, have you thought that like maybe it's been longer, but when you...
that's why I'm like, when you said it, I'm like, it's only been 4 months in that sense, but that's how much growth you can experience. And, and I think about it, I was, I had a lot of reservations. How on earth am I supposed to do that? I'm employed. How am I supposed to juggle all that? You know what I mean? But, in retrospect, I'm like, 4 months would still have passed. 4 months would have 100% passed.
Absolutely.
And this would have still just been a figment of my imagination. This restlessness would just have been then. All that would have passed is time. And one of the things Dr. Una says is like, time is just something, it's like your most valuable resource because you can never get it back. So I think it's jumping in, doing it, because time is still going to pass. You might as well give it a try, do it, right? And I think that's one thing that this has also taught me, to really value time and take action, because the time is going to pass anyway.
Well, there you go. 4 months. Went from figment of your imagination, building a business, getting it profitable, speaking on large stages, getting paid to speak, multiple podcasts to the point you can't even recall how many now, because you've been there. You've been contributing to courses, and it's only been 4 months. The world is your oyster, Dr. Funke. The world is your oyster. I think those who are thinking about joining EntreMD, let's give them in 1 minute why you think that they should join.
This is, again, for someone like me who never thought entrepreneurship was anywhere in my future. I had a mom that was a serial entrepreneur, but I was so sure it wasn't for me. If you do have an idea, bring it to reality. And I think especially as a physician, a lot of the times you can't really find a community that understands you, that gets the nuances with being a physician and your commitment to your patients or your frustrations with work, and so now you have this incredible community that helps you to get things from idea to reality, and not just reality, to a profitable reality. So, it's not complicated. Just do it.
Just do it. Like Nike says, just do it. All righty. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Funke of Restful Sleep MD, for talking to us. And like she said, for those of you guys who are thinking about joining the EntreMD Business School, she says it takes you from idea to business and profitable business, right? So just do it. Alrighty, I'm Dr. Tamar Beckford with the EntreMD Business School. I am your host for today. I hope you enjoyed this segment, and we'll see you guys next time. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.